Over the past 2 years, we have, rather depressingly, gone through two new Doctors. Technically one old and one new by now, but regardless, we are here today to rank all of the 14th Doctor's TV adventures, all of the 60th anniversary stories from 2023. Seeing how there's only 3 stories to discuss here, this is going to be a considerably smaller video than the others, but I'll do my best to give each story my own critical analysis. At the bottom of the list, with the 60th anniversary specials, we have number 3, The Giggle. Final 60th special is a fascinating watch to me, as this is one of those rare stories that starts off pretty strong, but sadly gets weaker as it goes along, and the flaws become more apparent. Regardless, let's start with the positives. The Toymaker being updated nearly 60 years later is done very effectively, moving away from the nursery rhyme games of the 1966 serial, though still paying homage to that story. This is a Toymaker who creates the ultimate game for the 21st century through the use of screens and social media. Nearly everyone on Earth has access to a screen, and through the use of Stooky Bill, a puppet used to show off the invention of television in 1925, the Toymaker is able to use this influence to the present day with screens everywhere. The entire human race has become violent, as they always believe they are right and have won their game, despite their wins being what you could consider petty wins on social media. Think of it this way, whenever you go on YouTube or social media in general like Facebook or Twitter, you can appeal to an audience that will blindly follow anything you say, even if you're getting your facts and common sense wrong. Typically it's a right-wing reactionary YouTube channel that has that, but let's carry on. But because you gain millions of views, likes, subscribers, etc., YouTubers will use that to believe that they have won their argument, despite being factually incorrect. People react, type, cancel, and they win. This premise is great and I love it. It's such a great update for the Toymaker. He uses this advantage as, to him, it's not just about getting others to play his game, he thrives on being able to cause competition and games. Neil Patrick Harris absolutely sells the Toymaker role and is a blast to watch. Then we go back to 1925 and things begin to fall apart. Donna randomly brings up that the 14th Doctor looks tired despite nothing in this or the previous episodes to support that statement. However, the momentum picks up with a surreal sequence in the Toymaker's domain, and I love the Toymaker calling out the Doctor's reckless behaviour when it comes to his previous companions, and using marionette puppets is such a creepy image as well. However, the special doesn't seem to have any confidence in this plot point, or doesn't have time to develop it. As we get back to the present, I do like the Toymaker dancing to spice up your life whilst casually turning people and objects into balloons and flower petals, but Neil Patrick Harris can sing, you know. Why have him lip sync the song? Then we come to By Generation, and I have mixed thoughts on this. On the one hand, I do like the idea of a Doctor retiring and settling down from thousands of years of travel, trauma and heartbreak, whilst the new incarnation goes on new adventures. In concept, it's not a bad idea, and even script editor Douglas Adams in the late 1970s proposed an idea like this for what would eventually become Shada. However, there's numerous problems with this execution. If you're going to have the 14th Doctor retire and settle down with a family, why give him another TARDIS where he can travel with Rose Noble across the universe? Shouldn't her mum Donna have a say in this? Especially since she learned in the episode what happened to companions like Amy, Clara and Bill. Not to mention, RTD has already given an incarnation of the Doctor, of sorts, a settled life, with the Meta-Crisis Doctor and Rose Tyler in Journey's End from 2008. But the reason that worked more effectively here is because this Doctor wasn't given his own TARDIS. There's a reason the Grow Your Own TARDIS scene from that episode was cut. Furthermore, I feel Stephen Moffat did this idea a lot better in a 3-minute scene between the Doctor and the Curator 10 years earlier in Day of the Doctor. Just through the dialogue alone, we can put the pieces together that the Doctor has adopted the new title of Curator and has retired from travelling. The 14th Doctor being around like this just makes things really awkward. The previous Doctor's era ended with Yaz saying goodbye to Doctor number 13. How's she going to feel that the very next incarnation is just a 2-hour drive away from Sheffield? Finally, this just makes things really awkward for Ncuti Gatwa starting as the 15th Doctor. The 14th Doctor is given reasons towards the end why he should settle down. and 15 is just awkwardly standing in the TARDIS corner, almost as if he's waiting for his era to begin. Luckily, Ncuti Gatwa is so charismatic and charming to watch, he just about pulls it off, but I feel bad for the actor, as being the face of the series, he now has to explain bi-generation to the casual audience members and in interviews as well. If I had a nickel for every time Russell T Davies wrote the final episode for David Tennant's Doctor, and somehow missed the point of regeneration and left me disappointed, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice. To summarise, the giggle starts off strong, but it's juggling way too many storylines at once for these changes to have any sort of impact, and would have hugely benefited from being a 2-parter where we can have time to process these game-changing storylines. Nevertheless, it is not devoid of good, it just keeps adding more and more as the story goes on until it falls flat on its backside and acts surprised as to why it fell down. But let's move on to the next special on this list. Number 2. The Star Beast. This episode comfortably falls into the category of Russell T Davies season openers, in that it won't rank as one of his greatest episodes, but it's simple and engaging enough to keep you watching. Taking a one-and-done comic book storyline from the 1980s and bringing it to the TV screen is a great idea, as Doctor Who's media has expanded so much beyond TV, so it's great that Russell T Davies is paying tribute to the comics as well. David Tennant settles back into the role of the Doctor with such ease, and it helps keeps the momentum of the story going, as this is an incarnation that the unit people will recognise, and we're not bogged down with post-regeneration trauma, allowing the audience to quickly get into the story. Catherine Tate is equally as great as Donna Noble, still missing alien encounters from right under her nose, which is still funny, and it's right that she protects her daughter as well. The conversation she has with Sylvia, where she has easy answers about what she feels about her daughter transitioning, feels really natural. She loves her daughter Rose. She will do anything for her. It's a simple, loving response. She's happy with her life and her family, but some nights she lies in bed and wonders what it is she has lost. There is an absence of something, and Catherine Tate delivers those lines with such aching emotion that it's really effective. And let's talk about Rose Noble. Prior to this episode's release, there was some appalling anti-trans commentary online in the wake of this episode being released, very often from the people you would expect, but this is the reason why positive representation is needed. Russell is taking hold of something that certain people want belittled and removed, and giving it a safe home in one of the biggest television platforms there is, and he is normalising something that is perfectly natural for a younger audience. Identity and ownership of self is a personal choice, and Russell makes Rose a gentle but strong character who is dealing with her own questions, loneliness and abuse from the other kids around her. Sylvia is vital to someone who wants to get it right but sometimes fails to adapt, and Donna is, as she always was, burning with protection for people who are mistreated, including her daughter. It's tackled quite sensitively at first before becoming a dominant theme in the ending of the story, being threaded creatively and emotionally into the narrative. I don't have all the answers on this subject because it is not something that I can completely understand sometimes, as I have never been through transitioning, but I am of the opinion that it is a personal journey for each individual, and that nobody has the right to take a personal choice of identity from anybody, and I'm willing to be educated and explore the idea further. And I think Russell is opening the door to that in a very constructive, optimistic way. Doctor Who has forged ahead politically for most of its life and is offering inclusivity, and if you hate that sort of thing, I would love to know what sort of show you have been watching for these past 60 years. The Meep is incredibly well realised on a practical level, and I like how the episode twists the E.T. style storyline on its head. You think this is about getting a small, cute, fluffy alien back home, but it turns out the Meep is evil and murderous, and is a wanted criminal. Love it. Miriam Margolyes was the perfect choice to voice the Meep because she really captures that helpless sweetness in the creature until it unleashes all its rage and fire, and she just goes to town with the madness. It's a huge success by all concerned. It's crazy in the best Doctor Who way, and it can be pretty funny with it as well. And a word for the raft design, which is very faithful to the original comic as I can see, but it just looks gorgeous on screen as well. Russell T Davies is never afraid of putting weird aliens on the TV, and this bunch are unforgettably so weird as well. There's not mistaking the fact that you are watching Doctor Who here. The binary-non-binary ending is bound to be divisive because it carries with it the suggestion that Rose is trans because of her mother and the Doctor merging, whereas that is obviously not the case for anybody else on this planet. It is a smart use of the meta-crisis. It comes with the message of be yourself. It truly embraces the idea in this new era that the Doctor can be male or female, and brings all the elements together in a very clever conclusion. It's giving a science fiction spin on real life experience, and I think Doctor Who is a place that can cope with that. It also brings huge inclusivity to anybody who is experiencing transition. It's making the language positive to children, and it is using television to spread the word that it is perfectly normal. Is it cheesy? Yes, it is, but you can't make these kinds of statements sometimes without a little bit of cheese, and I especially like it melted. There's two stories taking place here, and both of them are good in very different ways. The story of the Meep, the demented yet endearing alien, is a firm invitation for kids to watch Doctor Who, and it manages to be in turn very sweet, bonkers, surprising, and by conclusion embracing the bizarreness of it all. In short, it's all the things that can make Doctor Who great. On the other hand, you have Donna and Rosa's story, which has the unfortunate task of having to pick up 15-year-old plot threads and remind the audience of them, but once that is out of the way, it runs with a character piece that explores identity, claiming yourself, and both Donna and Rose do this by the end of the story, and letting it all go. Russell imbues the script with the sort of heart only he can bring to Doctor Who at times, and any shortcomings in this story can be overridden with just how much this entertained me on first watch. Whilst it's not the most complex or thematically deep Doctor Who story, the Star Beast is simplistically entertaining with plenty amount of substance to keep you entertained. Number 1. Wild Blue Yonder. This was definitely the slow burn of me for the 60th specials. Going into this episode, the audience knew the least about this episode, naturally leading to many speculation online that we would get appearances from previous Doctors. However, let's not judge an episode for what it isn't, and judge it for what it is. We have a wild, out-there sci-fi concept, with great character drama, elements of cheesy B-movie horror, a bizarre sense of humour, a rubbish robot, and in that sense it's a pretty great celebration of some of Doctor Who's stronger elements. It's one of those episodes where every element of the plot feels so meticulously planned, where every second of the story contributes in building up towards a breathtaking climax. The setting on the huge empty spaceship on the edge of existence is so good for establishing the tone, because we have these two characters who we have got to know and love completely alone in this vast empty space, that it creates a really unsettling atmosphere and a lonely feeling. Praise has to be given for the design of the spaceship, and the episode as a whole looks phenomenal, so kudos to director Tom Kingsley for pulling off this technically demanding episode. You can definitely tell where Disney's budget went here. The Not Things could be some of the most ingenious Doctor Who monsters we've ever had. The idea of creatures from beyond our universe imitating our characters in order to learn. It's not a hugely original sci-fi concept, but RTD uses the idea to great effect by giving us great character drama between our two leads, as they suddenly doubt whether they can trust one another, and we learn so much about them as people. I think the episode is much more of a statement than many people realise, and turning our main character's ability for fast thinking and problem solving against them is such a great way of raising the stakes, while also allowing for an enormous exposition dump to explain what's been happening the whole episode, while keeping the viewer on the edge of their seat. It's just great storytelling. We may even have an allegory for AI here as well, as AI can't learn without some kind of original source. When asking AI to generate art, it essentially steals and copies from other sources and artists. Not Things are trying to do the same thing here, not just stealing the likeness of the Doctor and Donna, but their memories as well. The more they give, the more the Not Things take as well. The ending cameo with Wilfred Mott is the icing on the cake, and it's not just a tribute to one of the new series' best supporting characters. I feel it complements the narrative about what is real and what is not. The Not Things may have been right about love letters not travelling as far as war and hate and destruction, but here we are. We have an old friend who brings the Doctor joy and love, and that will always triumph. Wild Blue Yonder is such a surreal experience that gets better every time I watch it, and I believe this would be the type of storytelling we would get for the 15th Doctor's era, but that's a video for another time. And that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of the 60th anniversary specials. Be sure to let me know what your thoughts on the specials were in the comments below. And if you'd like to hear more thoughts on these episodes, you can check out the commentaries that I have done on the Gargantuan Apples channel with my friend Lewis. I will be back next time with more Doctor Who videos looking at the 15th Doctor, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye everyone. Though my arms are a bit too long now.